Today, on the Vince Everett Ellison Show, the Democrats have had a master plan for years about how to change America by using illegal immigration. They've changed our cities, especially up north, really all of them, through illegal immigration to a point where these immigrants have brought these socialist ideas, these foreign ideas into American cities. And this is how Mandami and all of these crazy mayors are becoming mayors of these cities. I'm going to tell you how they've done it. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen to America if we keep allowing it today on the Vince Everett Ellison Show. All right, let's get this thing started. I've told you, and I've told you, and I've told you. The Democratic Party has a plan to replace Americans. I talked to you earlier about the reason why they are holding up the Republican Party plan to give American citizens subsidies for Obamacare. They want to make sure that they make Planned Parenthood happy by making sure that they can kill children. They got to have abortion into the Affordable Care Act. That's who they are. The way they want to control elections in many of the states in the United States of America is that they want to take control of big cities. They want to make the big city population so large that the rural populations of the rest of the state will not matter, and the big cities carry sway in all of these elections. And that there are so many people in these big cities that it doesn't matter who votes or how people vote outside the city. New York City is a great case study. Much of New York State is very conservative, but New York City is so large, about 16 million people, that it has the ability to turn the whole state Democrat. The governor, most of the assembly, all of it is Democrat. How did they get that way? Sanctuary cities and them luring illegal immigrants to these sanctuary cities. These immigrants have children. These cities become mostly immigrant. And immigrants bring in this socialist ideology because most of these immigrants come here not to work, as people tell you. They come here to leech. If they work a little bit, just enough so they can get free food, free housing, or subsidized housing, subsidized medical care, free bus passes, free internet, free phone. Now, Mandani wants to get prostitution legal because I guess if he gets it legal, he's going to give you some type of subsidy so you can go and buy a prostitute. Free sex. Easy, the Democrats voted on that. Well, they get a whole lot of derelict brothers to vote on that one, wouldn't they? Yeah, I'm going to vote for the Democrats. They said they're going to give us free sex. Don't put it past them. Don't you put it past them, nasty suckers. Don't put it past them. So anyway, that's depressing. They've got so many immigrants to come to these cities that the immigrants now control. And many of these cities now want to have illegals even vote. Yeah. They tried to do it in D.C., but after the Republicans took over the House, they blocked it. They're trying to do it they tried to do it inside of New York City, and I think the Supreme Court blocked it, but they're trying. They're trying to get this done. Now, when you go to New York City, for instance, New York City is 50% immigrant. At least 50% immigrant. And they vote. Now, you got to take this into consideration. If you got a city, just like Chicago is 22% immigrant, but Chicago is 28% black. So that gives Chicago 50%, it's 50% immigrant. Because black folks don't always vote like immigrants vote. They act like they're immigrants in this country. They don't act like they're true blue Americans, most of them don't. They act like they're an immigrant class who is coming here to leech off of the government. That's how most black Democrats are. It's a good deal when you've lived most of your life in a hole in the ground like most of them have done down in Central America and over in Africa and all these other countries. So when they come over here and they're hearing in their country, they're hearing, man, you're going to get free medicine, you're going to get free television, you're going to get free electric, you're going to get all this free stuff in America if you just get over there. To them, America is heaven. So the way they're living in these big cities to a person like me is terrible, but to them, from where they came from, shoot, boy, you can't tell them nothing. You don't have to go hunt to get your food. You go right down the street to the grocery store? Yeah, man. So this is where the sanctuary cities come from. They want to draw these illegals to these cities. It doesn't take half of them to make this city socialist. If you're winning or losing elections by 5 percentage points, if you get just 5%, if you get just a 5% influx into your city, 2 or 3%, they can sway an election one way or the other. And with these sanctuary cities, the fact that Joe Biden allowed over 30 million illegals in these countries, in the country, and told them come up to these cities, you see what you got now? So this is how Mamdani won. People say, how did New York City become socialist? Well, you brought about like maybe 3 or 4 million socialists up to this damn city. When the Democrats steal elections, man, you ain't got to show no ID. You don't have to show any address. You just walk up in there and say, hey, man, I'm an American citizen, I'm voting. Sign right there, sir. They get them from the homeless shelter. They get them from the drug rehab center. They will get in it. They have a joke in there with a needle in his arm, and they have nothing to vote. Democrats are terrible, man. Chicago's the same way. L.A. is 8% black. You got 35% illegals, 35% immigrants. So with 8% black, 35% immigrants, you got 43% of the vote right there. So if you got and you know the white folks over in L.A. Are liberal. So if you got a few conservatives over there, if half the white population is conservative, that sucker right there is socialist. That's where that little ugly Mayor Sharon Bass, that's where she is. Stone cold socialist, look like the Joker. You ever seen her? So you got L.A., Chicago, and New York City. All of them are run by socialist mayors. If you go to Detroit, I'm sure that mayor is socialist. If you go to San Francisco, I'm sure that mayor is a socialist. And wherever you find a big city and you have a mayor, you're going to find a socialist. Why? Because the illegals and the black people have come to those cities, and they come to leech with the black Democrats. The black Democrats have come to those cities, and they've come to leech off of the government. Black Democrats try to say, well, we Democrats, because the Republican Party is racist. You telling a lie. There is no evidence that the Republican Party is racist. I haven't seen nobody hang a black person from a tree. I haven't seen a Republican go out there and call any black person the N-word. I haven't seen any Republican go out there and say anything mean or nasty about black people. I've seen most of that over on the Democratic Party side, thank you very much. I just haven't seen it. Now, you might find the odd Republican that might say something. Even back in the old days, when they was calling black folks the N-word, they were all Democrats, y'all. That George Wallace, Orville Favors, Lester Maddox. Yeah, it was Fritz Hollins that put the Confederate flag up on the Capitol in South Carolina. And Fritz was a Democrat, okay? Good God Almighty. All y'all want to holler. No, that's a lie. This is what you use to try to justify your vote for the Democratic Party. You don't want to say, I'm voting for the Democratic because I'm a lazy, shiftless bum, and I want free stuff, and I don't want to work, and I want to have promiscuous sex to be able to abort my baby. That'll make you feel kind of bad. So you go into cognitive dissonance, and you say, I'm a Democrat because Republicans are racist. That's your lie. That is your lie. And if you say how they're racist, you're going to find something ignorant. Donald Trump's daddy was in the Ku Klux Klan. Man, what the hell are you talking about? Or Donald Trump didn't want black people living in his buildings back in the 80s. I said, hell, I wouldn't have either. But you know. What you talking about? You're trying to dig up something. I mean, you in New York City, you want them hip-hop jokers all up in your business, building acting a fool? Would you want Busta Rhymes and Old Dirty Bastard and all them up in there? Bismarck? Come on, man. You want Al Sharpton living up in your building? Jesse Jackson and all of them. It just wasn't a good look back there. The Blackstone Rangers and all them. Nah, you wouldn't want that. So I don't believe that Donald Trump didn't want black people living up in his business. I think he didn't want a certain type of person in his building. I don't think he would have had a problem with Muhammad Ali or Bill Cosby or a lot of other nice people living in his building. But when he said, but if there is a situation where it was going on, hell, I don't know nothing about it. People make it up. They try to make it seem like Trump's a racist. I see no evidence of it because, as I said before, he sent American troops into Nigeria. If he's a racist, he wouldn't do that. He's sending these troops into Memphis and into now Charlotte and all these inner cities in Washington, D.C. to stop the crime so that these inner city black people can live without getting shot at. If he's a racist, he wouldn't be doing that. It's just a lie that you tell to make yourself feel good because you don't want to tell the truth about why you're voting for this party. You want to be able to sit down on your front porch, drink 40s all day long, and watch Jerry Springer. You don't want to say that, so you lie about it. Just like jokers that get fired from their job. Man, I got fired. I didn't want to work at that racist place. That place wasn't racist. Tell you to be there on time. Is that racism? You see a joker get fired from a job, it always got to be the other man's fault. Got more excuses than a Negro going to jail. Oh, a crackhead going to jail. Always gets somebody else's fault. Same thing here. So these immigrants are coming up there. Of course, they're going to be lying too while they come to the inner city. They're going to say that they left their nation because somebody was threatening to kill them, that the gangs on the street was threatening to kill them or some crap. They're going to think of something. They were being oppressed in some way. So I came to America. You came because you wanted free stuff. I wanted a better way of life. It's nothing better than free. You come in skinny and you're fat in 3 months. Champagne for everybody. Courtesy of Billy Ray Valentine. Come to America. We're a bunch of suckers. We just give stuff away.
Champagne for everybody. Courtesy of Billy Ray Valentine.
So the immigrants have been drawn to these cities. They've been drawn to these cities by free stuff. They come in for this free stuff, so they have a socialist mindset. They vote for the mayors of these cities. Much of the free stuff that they're getting is federally funded free stuff. So the feds send it to these inner cities. It's not really coming from the state. Some of it comes from the state, but most of it comes from the federal government. And there's no top to it. It's no lid to how much the government's going to pay you for Medicaid. You're going to get your housing. You're going to get your education. You're going to get your free, your SNAP. You're going to get all of this stuff courtesy of the American taxpayer. So my taxes are sky high to take care of y'all sorry behinds. They've changed the cities. The cities are socialist. And the cities have gotten so large that they can also turn the state governments socialist. And these socialist states, they send socialist representatives to Washington, D.C., and the voters tell these socialists, we want one thing from you. What is that? Free stuff. And once you drop a baby in the United States of America, once one of those illegals drop a baby, it's over. It's hard to get them out then. It is hard to get them out. Almost impossible. This is why you always hear the people in the Trump administration say we're getting the ones out who've broken the law, because it's very, very difficult to have an American citizen in this country, especially once they've gotten a little age on them. The child is like 6, 7, 8 years old, they're American citizen. They've never left this country. They've never been out of it. It's going to be hard to get an immigration judge to kick that parent out, even if that parent is illegal, because that child is an American citizen. And I can feel for them. I'm hard, but I can feel that. I'm serious. You can sit there and this woman got 3 children. She's illegal. All these children were born in America. They haven't caught her. The children are 10, 11, 12 years old. You look at her record. She hadn't broken a law. And you're going to ask the immigration judge to send her out the country and take the children with her. The judge is usually going to say, no, I'm not going to do that. He's just not. And that's how they win. That's how they win. And this is why America is changing. The demographics of the country is changing. The political ideology of the country is changing. The country is about to implode because we're taking care of all these people that will not take care of themselves. I heard this woman give this great example of how socialism does not work. Professor had a class, had a bunch of students and a little liberal students that thought socialism was good. She said, okay, let's do it. Show you how socialism works. We're going to do it with the grades. She said that everybody's going to take a test, and we're going to take all the grades, the A's to the F's, and we're going to bring them all together, and we're going to find a median test score and give them to everybody. They said, good idea. So they took the first test. Some children made A's, some children made B's, some children made F's. She put them all together. The average score at the end was a B. Well, the children who made the A's didn't feel pretty good about this because they got a B and they worked hard. The children that made B's were okay, but the children at the bottom made F's were very, very happy. So what happened? The children that made the F's, they had no incentive to work harder because they weren't going to be no matter what they did. The children that made A's said that we're not going to work as hard because if we do, we're still going to get a B. So second test comes. F children didn't work harder. The A children definitely didn't work harder. And the B children kind of stayed the same, but guess what happened? No A's, some B's, more F's. The next grade, the average was C. Well, then the B children said, we're not going to work harder because if we work harder, we're not going to get it. The F students said, we don't need to work harder because we're going to be given something anyway. The A students got really mad then and said, we're going to get a C. We're definitely not going to work hard. Third test was taken. The median score became a D. And they really didn't want to work hard anymore at the top. The F students were even getting upset now because the median score was a D. Well, they said, I'm really going to give up now. And by the end of all of it, everybody was making F's. Everybody was equally poor. The children that could do better saw no incentive to do better. The ones at the bottom were always at the bottom anyway. And she looked at them and said, how you like socialism now? It is a race to the bottom. It is against human nature. Capitalism gives you incentives to do well, to work hard, to stay at the top. You might not like it, but that's how the people that make F's even do better. Because if it wasn't for the capitalists, these jokers down at the bottom wouldn't have cell phones, they wouldn't have air conditioners, they wouldn't have cars, they wouldn't have full bellies. The ones that are making C's wouldn't have jobs because they get their jobs from the ones at the top. Socialism hasn't worked anywhere in the world because of this whole basic construct that I just showed you. And yet you'll have Democrats still trying to tell you it's a proper way of living. You had a joker win a race in New York City with this lie. You have Bernie Sanders sitting in the United States Senate now telling people he's a socialist. And the Democratic Party running on this right now, knowing that it does not work. Why? Because they want you at the bottom, all you making F so they can be king of the ashes. They'll burn this whole country down so they can stay on top. It's the same thing that they did in the South with the slave plantations. The master lived in the big house and he didn't care that he had 500 slaves down there living in shacks. As long as he stayed in the big house. But what do they have to do to get you to believe in this? First, they have to demoralize you. They have to make you believe that you can't have any better, and then they have to make you believe that you're not worth any better. And when I go down into the ghettos of America, that's the one thing that I see. I see people that don't think they're worth it anymore. They don't think they're worth it. You can tell by how they look. You can tell by how they walk. Tell how they dress. I've seen people that actually get weirded out when they see me and my family because we don't act like them. You think you're better than me? Yeah. Matter of fact, I think I am very much better than you, actually. Why? Because I ain't got no damn tracks in my arm shooting up my body. I ain't eating pork all day long and smoking cigarettes and drinking liquor all day long, destroying my body. I study and I read to try to make sure that my mind is straight, and I pray to my God to make sure that my spirit is straight. I look at you and I see a waste of life. You ain't better than me. Yes, I am. And if you put your hands on me, I'm going to show you. So you go live in your degradation. You live in your beat down mindset. You live in your inferior way of thinking. But please don't put me in the category with you. You can come up to my level because I will never come down to yours. If that offends you, be offended. I will not wallow in the mud with hogs. I will not eat scrap with dogs. So the cities are changing. And hopefully America will not change too much. We will catch ourselves. And we will teach our people again to live in high esteem. We'll teach them to look at themselves and understand and know that they not only deserve better, but they must earn better. But they must earn it. You have to earn it. You must know who you are. You must know whose you are. You're an heir of Jesus Christ. You're a child of God. Carry yourself like you're the son of the king. And everybody will recognize you for who you are. You're not socialists. You're not beggars. You're not thieves. You're not crybaby. You're men and you're women of America. Stand and act that way. And until you do it, I'm going to be here to wake you up. And I hope I did you some good here today. So join me again for another edition of the Vince Everett Ellison Show. All right, friends, Vince Everett Ellison is here. I want you to go to my website. And on my website, you're going to see a lot of great stuff, man. You're going to see that we got t-shirts, we got caps. You got my books, my documentaries. You got all kinds of stuff on VinceSpeaksTruth.com. Go there. We're dropping new t-shirts. We're dropping new merchandise. My new book, The End of Tolerance, is there. The End of Tolerance. Make sure you get it. Make it #1. If you got my first 3, get The End of Tolerance. It's just as good. And it's telling us we have to end our tolerance with these leftists, these Democrats. We can no longer allow them to sexually groom our children. We can no longer allow them to castrate little boys and call them little girls, run God out of the public square, take away our guns, take away our sovereignty. No longer allow it. So go on VinceSpeaksTruth.com. That is VinceSpeaksTruth.com. Hit merchandise. You'll see the t-shirts. You'll see the caps. You'll see the books. You'll see the documentaries. You'll see it all. And let's keep this ball rolling. God bless you.